Hello guys, it is the Gaming Weasel back again, and as promised we have a full, in-depth sort of guide to Sisters of Parvos or Corpus lich farming. So if we go into my codex, go to my universe and then Sisters of Parvos, you'll see I have two of them. And we have our Elidio Falcophia, which gave me the Tenet Archoplasmor, and we have of course a Mitriania Give, which gave me the Tenet Tetra, which I did for this video. So, as you can see down below, you have timestamps where you can check out the setup process, I guess the actual acquisition of your sister candidate, and then of course the hunting process, and then the finale, which will go down in Railjack. So, of course, first timestamp and the first part of the video is going to be setting up Warframe recommendations, weapon recommendations, and then so on. So, let's get started. On the screen right now, you can see a screenshot of the Warframes and their corresponding elements. So, once you go and then find your sister candidate, your weapon will have the corresponding element on it. So, for example, my Tenet Tetra and Archoplasmor have the cold proc because I used Revenant as my Warframe of choice. Now, I recommend you go for something like Viral, or if you want to go with Fire, that could be cool as well. But if you're searching for, I guess, a specific ephemera, then I would definitely recommend you check out a YouTube video on somebody else's channel about that, on which ephemera it corresponds to which element. So, Warframe recommendations. So let's say you got your candidate, you got your weapon and or ephemera if you're looking for that, and then you want to just fight inside of these missions. What Warframes do I recommend that you use? Now, keep in mind these are higher level missions. These are missions around 60 to 90, so this is going to be a little bit tougher. I honestly recommend some tankier frames, maybe that can buff you as well and increase some stats, maybe reduce enemy armor as well, but you are facing Corpus, so shields are gonna be very important here, and your weapons of choice. Now, Warframes that I maybe recommend, now these are maybes because I honestly haven't tested them out yet. I've tried Chroma, so I'm definitely sure about him, so I would definitely recommend Chroma or Chroma Prime. Then Baruch is gonna be okay, Gaara is gonna be nice as well because of her 9% damage reduction. Of course, Excalibur is going to be okay, but I honestly don't recommend them highly. I've seen people use Hilgen, and Aros is going to be good as well. You can use Lavos for two reasons, which I'll explain later on. I've seen people using Korra. Mace is going to be very good, very, very good. Then Nezha can be useful as well. And Nidus I wouldn't really recommend. Then I would recommend Revenant. I loved using Revenant against these enemies because of his second ability, making you literally invulnerable for a decent sum of I guess enemy shots, because it is counted towards how many times you're hit. So he is pretty good, but you don't have to worry about getting down to that much. Then Wukong as well. I've seen people use Wisp, but honestly wouldn't recommend her. And I've seen people using Volt and or Vauban. So there you go. You can even use Trinity if you want. So that is mostly it, what I recommend. If you have any other recommendations, maybe you think you could do better than me, or maybe some recommendations that I forgot, leave it in the comment section below. Primary weapons. The Exotra is going to be good. The Estelle is going to be good as well. Then the Archoplasmor is going to be good as well. You have to keep in mind that shields are weak against impact and magnetic. So weapons with that status and damage type are going to be very good against these. So Archoplasmor, as I said, the Cedo is going to be good as well. The Ignis Wraith is going to be really good. Then you can use the Proboscis Ceranos, for example, but a little bit difficult to honestly use it, so I wouldn't really recommend it. You have the Shadu, which is okay. You can also use the Heck with the mod as well. It's going to be okay-ish, but weapons that I recommend, you can use the Kuva Brahma as well if you have it. And that is mostly it. The Stalta is going to be okay as well. Other weapons, the Bubonico can be good and well used as well. And let's see if there's any other weapon that I maybe missed out on. Honestly, I don't think there is. And moving on to secondaries, honestly, there's only literally one candidate here. Is going to be the Kuva Nukor and or maybe the Piranha Prime and the Oxamati Prime, but honestly, the Kuvinokra still is dominant as a secondary, so I would definitely recommend you use it. Melee weapons, moving on from the top to the bottom that I have and that I recommend using. The Grand Prime is going to be okay. Glaive is going to be very good as well. The Zorus is going to be good against enemies inside of the Grand Void, so keep that in mind. The Cronin Prime is a good weapon. The Namaskayla, the Nekana Prime, Reaper Prime, then the Redeemer and or Shrofa. The Skanjari is going to be good as well. And the War weapon or melee weapon can be useful as well. The Vichka can be used, but I honestly think the War is a little bit better. So there you go. That's mostly it. Your Parazon, you don't have to upgrade that much. It really depends on just what I do is put random mods inside of this and just hope I get the right one. And honestly, on this Kuva Lich, or sorry, not Kuva Lich, but this is a Parvos Lich, I was lucky enough to actually get 2 of these guys right. So I was lucky enough to get that. So, you know, I always put something random in, might have a good chance of getting it right. So, moving on to the actual pet that I recommend you use. Smita Kavat is going to be the where to go with the Charm, of course, mod, because, of course, extra critical chance is never going to be bad, but you have to hope that you're going to get it. Archwings. The Archwings, what I recommend, I honestly use the Elytron. I see people use the Misha. You can use the Utsal or the Odonata or the Odonata Prime. Depends on what you want to play with. Honestly, my Archwing is pretty bad and my weapon is pretty bad, so this is what my Archwing looks like. Really bad. And I am using the Imperator, which is something like this, basically just critical chance damage, and that's mostly it. And the melee weapon I don't even want to talk about because this is literally atrocious. So yeah, that's mostly it. Moving on to the actual Railjack, because you're gonna need to play Railjack for this. So the mods, honestly, I don't even look at them. I'm just using really bad mods here. And then if we go into the battle segment here, and these are your, I guess, abilities that you can use. Now these are based on your Warframe's energy. So for example, if you have 100 energy, you have 100 energy to spend on these abilities. What I recommend here is Lavos. Lavos is going to be very good here because, of course, he doesn't have energy. So you can literally cast this infinite number of times. So there you go. And intrinsics, you have to have at least 1 intrinsic at rank 5. So keep that in mind. You can only do 1. I mean, you only need 1, so you don't have to rank up everything to rank 5, but you do need to have 1 that's going to be rank 5. How do you gain intrinsics? Well, play Railjack missions with an XP booster or a blessing, because the intrinsics are basically Railjack XP. So that's how you get them. You can go on the Earth Proxima and just play around there, and then slowly but surely gain them until you can unlock higher tier missions to gain even more experience. Now, what is needed to actually get your sister candidate? Well, to get your sister candidate, you need to have the Zenith Granum coin, which is the max one, and you can gain that by going to Pluto and going on to Hydra. Now here you can farm a couple of those, and then once you farm them up, you can go inside of the Granum Void. I actually did a video before this one that you can check out if you want on how that exactly works. Go to the Granum Void. What you need, as you can see, there's a golden arm right there on the picture. That's literally the I guess, place where you enter the Granum Void. Now here, weapons such as the Zorus is going to be very good. I've used my Arcoplasmor and it's pretty good as well, to be perfectly honest with you, so you don't have to worry about that. And of course, Revenant's ultimate is pretty efficient at killing enemies here as well. You can use Mesa, but then you're going to get Magnetic on your Tenet weapons, so wouldn't really recommend that. But if you want Magnetic, there you go, you can use Mesa. But honestly, out of 75 kills, you only need to get 25 to actually get your sister candidate to spawn in. Now, once you complete the Granum Void, you exit out of it. You have to, I guess, sort of wait a couple seconds, then your sister's gonna appear. You can, of course, down her, see what weapon you're gonna get. Sadly, you can't really see the ephemera. You're gonna see the weapon, and then at that point, if you want to, you know, get that weapon, you can mercy kill her, and if you don't, just ignore her, move on, and then wait until that little pesky bugger that gives you the Granum coin spawns. Kill him, leave the mission, rinse, and repeat. That's mostly it. Now, a couple of other things that I forgot to mention is, well, actually, I think I didn't actually forget anything, but yeah, that's mostly it. Moving on to the second part of this segment, which is going to be the actual hunt itself. Now, if you of course, find yourself a good weapon and find yourself a new candidate, Sisters of Parvos. She's gonna appear on Venus, then she's gonna move on to Phobos, then Jupiter, then she's gonna move on to Neptune. Be careful, and I mean, this is not you dependent, this is RNG dependent. The more she ranks up, the more powerful she's gonna get, and that scales a lot inside Railjack. So I recommend doing this with the team, because with the team inside of missions such as survival, capture, sabotage, and rescue, these are the 4 mission types that I recommend you play, because playing with a squad has a bigger chance of their Sisters of Parvos Lich spawning, which means they're gonna spawn their hounds more and more, which of course you can mercy kill to gain and try to unlock your Requiem mod that you need to of course finish your Sisters of Parvos Lich. So I definitely recommend doing this with a squad, and definitely recommend doing survival, capture, rescue, and then what did I say? Exterminate maybe as well, and sabotage. So these 5 missions. She is mostly gonna spawn pretty often, and they do spawn pretty often, so you don't have to worry about that. But you know, if you get lucky enough and she doesn't rank up a lot, the max rank that I got was 4, the minimum was 3, so you know, I was lucky in that part. But 5 and 6 I've realized is a little bit, you know, a little bit harder to kill. You have to waste a lot of time and, you know, mash that E button if you're gonna do it with melee. So that is mostly it. Moving on to the actual hunting part. Okay, and we're moving on to the main part, of course, which is going to be the hunting part, which is going to take you probably the longest time, but not as long as it took before, so definitely don't have to worry about that. Now, before, when you actually had to farm the Kuva larvalings, because, of course, the hounds didn't exist and Sisters of Parvos didn't exist, you had to wait a long time to actually get your Requiem unlocked. That was because of the higher spawn rate, but the less progression that you gained. But now it's literally the other way around. You're gonna gain more progression, a lot more progression. Honestly, I played this one, the Kuva, the Sisters of Parvos, these hounds that I needed to kill in this mission, and the gameplay that you see in the background. It honestly took me around, I think, 3 survival missions and then maybe 3 capture missions to actually gain all 3 Requiems. I was lucky enough to actually unlock one at the beginning without even unlocking it. I just randomly got it, as I said previously. But it's gonna take you around 20 to 30 minutes to actually unlock your Requiem, maybe even more if you get lucky, so you don't have to worry about that, because it's going to be much faster than before. Before, honestly, I didn't love hunting Kuva liches because it was a long time you know, until you actually unlock the Requiems. So basically what you need to do is, I recommend playing, as I said earlier on, survival missions. These are going to be pretty good. 5 minutes isn't that long, and around 3 or 4 are going to spawn, because it is dependent if Sisters of Parvos actually appears inside of the mission, and it usually does, to be perfectly honest with you, so you don't have to worry about it that much. And 3 and 4 is going to get you, I think, 2/3 of the way done of unlocking one Requiem mod, so that is going to be very good. Now, if you're wondering how to acquire these Requiem mods, you can do Requiem Fisher missions, sort of, and then here you will unlock these mods, or you can buy it from the market. They cost around 15 to 20 platinum now because of the Sisters of Parvos. It kind of went up to from 10 to 15 to 20, but you know, that isn't that big of a deal anyway. Each one of these mods can be used up to 3 times once you actually get the sequence of the mods right, so you don't have to worry about that. You can hunt down 3 unless, you know, until your mods run out, so that's really cool as well. But definitely takes you much less time right now. So in the gameplay in the background, you can see me just running around doing missions, and of course mercy killing these hounds, which are a little bit powerful. They have sort of little abilities they use, and you kind of have to watch out because they can down you. They are pretty tough enemies, but you don't have to worry about it that much. A couple of things that I forgot to say in the beginning part is you need to complete the War Within quest, and you also need to complete the Call of the Tempestari quest to actually play and hunt down your Kuva Lich. I'll leave it in the comment section below just because I mentioned it a little bit later on, so people don't get confused. Now, honestly, that's mostly it what I have to say about the Kuva hunting. Oh, sorry, not the Kuva, but the sister hunting part. It's not that hard. She will appeal a couple of times. She will rank up maybe 2 or 3 times, but you don't have to worry about it that much, because when you're playing in a squad, you're probably gonna do the Railjack part in a squad as well, and it's not that hard to do anyway, so you don't have to worry about it, you know, that much, because it's not that difficult, of course, when you play with a squad. If you want to play with friends, definitely your damage reducing frame is going to be good. Maybe a buffing frame like Whist to place down some motes is going to be very good as well. For example, let's say a Warframe that can reduce enemy armor is going to be very good. And maybe even Necros, just because of the extra loots, but honestly don't really recommend him anyway, especially if all 4 of you actually hunting down your sisters or Parvos liches. So once you gain all 3 Requiems, of course, and you find out the sequence of mods that you need to use, she will appear, or you can use a beacon as I did in the gameplay, and you can summon her, or she appears, of course, and then what you need to do is literally just kill her 3 times, or I guess stab her 3 times, and then she will flee to the Neptune Proxima inside of Railjack. And this is where the part that I don't really like, and this is the part where I think a lot of people don't like, but it is cool and much funner or better at the moment than it was before. So couple of recommendations with Railjack. Definitely recommend doing this with a squad, and definitely recommend you know, playing with some people that maybe even know better than you, but considering you're watching this video, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna explain how the Railjack part works later on, but for now, that is mostly it about the Kuva hunting process, or the Sisters of Parvos and the Hound hunting process. So last but not least, the Railjack Finale, which will be going on right now. Okay, so Railjack is right here in the gameplay in the background, and I'm going to be talking about what you need to do to actually access the Sisters of Parvos ship. So in my case, I'm playing with 4 other teammates, and I kind of bugged out at one point because you have 4 objectives to complete as a team, I guess, and then you will be able to access the Corpus ship. Now, you need to destroy 2 Corpus cruise ships, which is not that hard. You're gonna see me entering one and destroying the generators and destroying the 3 panels inside, and of course, you'll be able to see them pretty easily because they do have sort of a diamond shape, but a little bit with, you know, curved edges. I'm gonna sort of put a screenshot on the screen so you can see it. So you have to destroy 2 of these, and then you have to destroy 2 shield generators / turrets inside of the Corpus ship itself, which you won't be seeing in the gameplay sadly because it glitched out, as I said, but they will appear red as objectives, so you don't have to worry about that as well. Definitely do recommend having a crew here because that is going to be very needed if you're gonna play solo, because your Railjack can get destroyed and you can fail this mission and then you have to restart. It is a little bit of a higher level mission, so keep that in mind, and that's why I do recommend you definitely have maybe an even upgraded ship and or definitely a crew on side of your ship. So once you enter and do those 4 objectives, you're going to be able to enter the Corpus ship. Once you enter here, if you're playing with a squad, it's going to go in sequences. So for example, let's say you're number 3 on your squad list, you might get your Corpus lich to spawn first, or you might get it to spawn last. It's really just at random, but if you're playing with a squad, all 4 of you will have your sister spawn in, and then all 4 of you, of course, kill your sister at different time points inside of the mission itself. Once you complete it, of course, you will, well, get your weapon, and of course you can get the ephemera as well. So vanquishing enemies will give you the weapon, and then converting them will give you the ephemera. So there you go, just if you have a misdemeanor there, and even if you didn't know, now you know. So that is mostly it. Just have to kill her, shoot her down. You do need to kill the specters first, then you have to kill her hound, and then you can attack your sister, because you can break down her shields, which is okay, but you cannot attack her armor and health directly unless you kill the 2 specters and then her hound as well. Now this will depend on her level. If she is pretty high, that means it's going to take you much longer to actually kill her than, for example, if you had a rank 2 or maybe you in a rank 1, which is probably never going to happen to anyone, but you know, somebody might get lucky and someone probably will. But yeah, her Hound and the Spectres are pretty easily killed, but she is very dependent on your rank, and sorry, her rank, not your rank, but her rank, and of course your squad, the weapons you're using, and so on. But yeah, that is mostly it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. A couple of ending bits. As I said, definitely recommend playing with this with the team because it's gonna go much faster than doing this solo. If you have bad internet connection or you can't really play multiplayer, I'm really sorry, but it's gonna take you a little bit slower, not by much, maybe 10 minutes delayed, but other than that, or you even have to grind more for Railjack and so on. But nonetheless, that is mostly it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. I try to make a lot of content in the next couple of days about the Sisters of Parvos update, and I will see you guys in my next video. This has been the Gaming Weasel, over and out.